What a beautiful day we are having today. And if you're not having a beautiful day, I am glad that you are here tuning into this video. My intention is to help bring illumination to your heart, to help just soothe whatever rough edges are there. So, as we feel into this space, please know that I am Sitara. I am so thankful, so happy to be here with you today. I had a really beautiful dream last night. It was one of those where I woke up. It was, as you're having them right before you wake up, they're the most vivid and they leave this beautiful imprint. Oh, I see in the comments that you watch the Quantum Cash Flow every day. That is one of my favorite series. For those of you that don't know, I have a full 21-day free course here on YouTube called Quantum Cash Flow. So if you're having some itchy scratchiness around bringing in abundance, because there is a lot of that going on in the collective field right now, as a lot of people are recovering from the panini, as we lovingly call it, we are refining and honing in our capacity to bring in more joy and more abundance, more prosperity into our world and into our life. So all of this actually perfectly goes with what the message is that I am feeling called to share. So the dream that I had was I was in Miami. I was with some dear friends of mine that I met in Bali that have a beautiful little baby. And there's so many stories that I could share with you as to why there is a connection here. But the message that I felt imprinted with right as I was waking up, because she and I had playfully talked about me going to Miami and being able to see them and, just make some memories, share an experience. And so in this dream, I was there. And as I was talking to her about how it happened, because, in dreams, things are a little bit funny, I wasn't aware of how I got to Miami physically. But what I was aware of is that just playfully having this conversation with her opened this, let's say, timeline or this possibility or this stream of consciousness. And so that stream of consciousness in my dream was reinstated. It was like a clear awareness. And some of you already know what I'm going to say, but repetition and fine tuning, fine honing these things is really important. Because as I am growing our program Rise and I'm growing the offerings, as I'm reestablishing the vision for Monad and what we want to do to serve people and being able to really deeply connect with the consciousness of your higher self, to follow your divine purpose, your divine plan, there is like full capacity moving through me to be able to be very clear in my intentions in creating it. So I'm sharing this hopefully in a mirror for you to be able to resonate or relate in what it is that you're creating in your life. So the message that came through really clear was about fine-tuning our thoughts, fine-tuning our intentions, and fine-tuning our words. So oftentimes when we are co-creating with our reality and we're manifesting and we're journaling and we're meditating and we're doing, the spiritual checklist, we're doing all the things that we are feeling like we're supposed to be doing and all of that, it's like we set that time that is intentional. And so we're setting those intentions and we're getting very clear. And what's really important to know is that every single moment of every single day, you are co-creating with the universe, with your own reality in every thought you are thinking, in every comment you are making, in every fear you are voicing into the world that is co-creating and working in your reality. So, as we are abundantly aware of what it is that we are calling in and what we're saying we want, right? That we're saying from our desires that we want. Yes, thoughts become things, words become actions. And as we're aware of that, Obviously, it's not that every thought that we have manifests into what it is, right? Because we need to have momentum and that consistency. So what happens is, as we focus on those things, as we know, like where attention focuses, I always mess up that like cliche comment, but it's like where our attention is, the energy follows. And so as the energy is following, and as we're setting that intention, and as we're purifying those thoughts becoming things, what starts to happen is those parts within us that aren't authentically aligned, meaning the parts within us that have a contradicting desire. So let's say you want to bring in, we'll just throw out a number. Let's say you want to bring in $10,000 a month, or you want to bring in $20,000 a month. Maybe you want to bring in $5,000. Maybe you want to bring in $100,000. It's okay. Just whatever it is that is sitting true for you, using money as a measurement. Sometimes when we focus on money, what happens is we start feeling and becoming acutely aware of the places in our life where we are lacking money. So we start focusing on the fear, or we start focusing on the stress. But underneath that, let's say that you had childhood patterning or programming where you were feeling malnourished, and not necessarily by the nutrients that you're putting in your body, but you're feeling malnourished of emotional care, you're feeling malnourished of cuddling, or whatever it is that's there, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Let's say that those places within you are feeling malnourished. So as we grow into adulthood, what we start to see is these particular patterns becoming heightened. And so what will happen is that underneath that, in our core desire, let's say our core desire is that we want to be taken care of by somebody, or we want somebody to come in and rescue, or we want somebody to come in and fix the problem, or we want somebody to XYZ. But if that is actually also not fully aligned with your divine blueprint, meaning the lessons that your soul came into this world to learn and to experience and to grow through, what will happen is these contradictory patterns, or these contradictory beliefs that are resonating deeper in the subconscious flow of your entire makeup. So what will happen is you're thinking the desire from your egoic consciousness, well, this is what I want. It's super important to peel away those layers to get really clear on why. Why do you want that? Why are you calling it in? Why are you putting your attention and energy into that direction? And so again, using the example of money, it could be because you want more freedom, or it could be because you want to have the resources to be able to create what you're visioning. Any of those things is a really beautiful thing. And then you peel another layer away and you get even more clear as to why. So when we get authentically and radically, rigorously honest with ourselves, in a place of non-judgment, in a place of full embodied compassion, in a place of full embodied forgiveness to all that is, maybe to the primary caregivers that weren't able to offer that nurturing support because they themselves were also healing and trying to reconcile patterns of not feeling nourished through the generational line, what they learned from their parents, which they learned from their parents, which could be a pattern of, parents needing to work, or XYZ, like fill in the blanks on these. And so when we are in this state of heightened awareness to what we want for our soul's blueprint, which is why I say follow your heart. And this is why it's important to access those soul memories and find that deeper place of forgiveness and releasing resentment and releasing these like hard edges of grudges and that sort of thing, because those things that you're holding on to by means of maybe punishing somebody else are actually creating this pattern of not feeling fed and not feeling nourished, which basically in turn creates this pattern of lack. So as you're calling in abundance, or you're calling in prosperity, or calling in whatever it is that you want, where you're feeling a deficit in your world, something that's really beneficial and helpful to kind of loosen the pickle jar or loosen the screw a little bit is by being able to focus on where are you absolutely positively abundant. So you can find it in places that are very simple. Like maybe you have enough forks in your fork drawer that you could never use all of the forks that you have in one day. Or maybe you have enough bananas that you couldn't eat all of the bananas that you have in one day. There is an abundance. There's more than what you would even desire to want or have at one single time. And so when we start to see, okay, I have an abundance of chairs in my house, I have abundance of cups in my cupboard, I have an abundance of friends that I can call, I have an abundance of where you're overflowing. And so when you start focusing on these places where your desires all are already fulfilled, and when you are able to see you have an abundance of electricity or you have an abundance of XYZ, pick something where you feel that you are overflowing by means of positive expansion and positive growth. Because when you're able to see that in so many ways you've been able to create abundance in your life and abundance in your heart, it starts bringing your focus into that particular frequency. And so when you're focusing in that way for long enough, you start to forget that you're actually feeling lack, or that you're actually not feeling that you have enough. And so it's a way that we start to create more of a flow in our world or in our life when we start focusing on these different perspectives that will loosen the stronghold that you have on these internal patterns that are actually not allowing the receiving mode from universal forces to come through, that are here working in your favor in every single moment of every single day. That your higher self every single day is doing what it can to guide your consciousness through your thoughts, through your words, and through your actions into what's going to be creating the cycle of abundant resources for you to actually live into your divine purpose. Because all of the resources for you to fulfill your potential already exist within you. And so the patterns that we adopt and the patterns that we learn from society, from media, from viral programming, from all of these things that imprint us if we are not being conscious of how it is that we are being imprinted. So when we find that center within ourselves and beam that illumination from the center of our own heart space, because the frequency of source is existing in us already at all times, that we can start resonating our cells. Every single cell in your body has a consciousness that is listening to your thoughts, that is imprinting what it is that you are bringing in. It is imprinting what it is that you are focusing on. And so the more time you spend embodying those frequencies of joy, embodying the frequency of pleasure, embodying the frequency of abundance, embodying those things that you are truly desiring, what it does is it does illuminate those places within that are not resonating it. So that's where some of that like scratchy expansion contraction kind of mechanisms start kicking in, because that desire to actually let go of the hardened desires that say, I need XYZ, I need XYZ. And you know when you're coming from that place of desperation, or you know when you're coming from that place of feeling deeply malnourished in some way. So if you can give yourself the opportunity, maybe by creating a daily journaling practice. I know this is coming in really strong for me. My guides are continuing to say, write more. We have more to share with you. Write more. Create the space to write more. We have more that we want to share. And like when those messages start coming on repeat, pay attention to them, because it is your own personal spirit team that is doing what they can to help you eliminate and release and lovingly let go of those patterns that are subconsciously stored within your entire makeup that are actually creating that dissonance that is holding you back, or creating that kind of slingshot effect where you make progress, you go 2 steps forward and then 1 step back, or 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back, or you start to feel. Don't you love that there's a house phone going on? When was the last time you heard that? When you start to feel that that movement is moving through you, and just find that way to wiggle within your body. That's why movement practices are so important, because these hardened parts of ourselves that we are in resistance to letting go of, they also require that attention and kind of movement, and the willingness. That's the key, is the willingness, activating and utilizing your free will to shift these stored or stuck consciousnesses from being able to be released. And that's where the rigorous self-honesty comes in. When we are in that place where we are able and willing to be rigorously honest with ourselves and our own patterns, and what it is that we are committing to staying stuck in because of fear of growth, or fear of change, or fear of success, or fear of rejection, or whatever these F words are, that we start to stifle our ability to actually call in and manifest what it is that we desire. So that willingness to sit, that willingness to be still, that willingness to listen, offers you the opportunity to very gently, very lovingly, very peacefully, to release and replenish, meaning you're bringing in more of what it is that you desire from a frequency standpoint. Because when you're embodying more of that frequency of, I've got me, I've got this, and your confidence start building, and you start building that momentum, and you're like, okay, I'm starting to take strides, that you notice when that momentum kind of pulls you back in an area that you are stuck. So the ability to self-correct, and that ability to really allow your awareness to become fine-tuned with where your thoughts are going, and catching yourself when you start having sloppy thoughts or sloppy thinking that is distracting or detouring you from the direction that you truly want to go. And it isn't necessarily about forcing and forcing and forcing. It is about listening and alchemizing, listening and transmuting, listening to replenish. And so these are the things that we focus on a very, very deep level within the guided transmissions that we have. Now, the quantum cash flow transmissions, there's a whole 21-day free series that I have here. You can go into my playlists and find it, and go through that. And I love it, because I'm actually seeing that more people are starting to listen to that now. But within that, there are also transmissions that you can purchase that will do the energy work with you, that will actually transmute and shift and change those currents within you that are contradicting your desire to bring in more abundance. And remember, if abundance towards money is something that you feel contracted about, that you think about it and the next thought is immediately like, grr, well, okay, focus on something else. Do you have an abundance of blankets in your house? Do you have an abundance of socks? Do you have an abundance of shoes? You could never wear all the shoes that you have in one day. So focus on the areas where you have acquired the abundance that you're calling in, and express that gratitude to being able to receive. And all of these kinds of practices will transmute and alchemize that stuck energy in a way that's very simple and very gentle and very easy, because we don't want to overcomplicate this. Fine-tuning your energetic mastery really is quite simple. It does take a bit of courage. It does take a bit of dedication. It does take a bit of willingness to be present and honest with yourself, the family patterns you have adopted, whatever imprints you've adopted from your environment. So we breathe and we move through it. So what I would really love is if in the comments as you're watching this, if you could type in a prayer of intention for yourself and every single person that will be connecting to this video, so that in the comment stream we start developing a really powerful cycle of prayers for ourselves, for our monad community, for the subscribers on this channel, as well as for those who will tune into this message here and now as we are live or on the replay whenever that is. So that's what my intention is in really creating and activating this channel as a prayer circuit, that we are embedding every single video and every single comment section with prayers for ourselves and prayers for our brothers and sisters that are tuning into this. So thank you for participating in that. I'm really looking forward to hearing about your prayers and what it is that you are creating and cultivating. And with that, my sweet friends, I absolutely love you. I absolutely adore this appreciation and have a deep amount of gratitude for the technology that allows us to connect in this way. So if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, play the algorithm game with me. It really helps to, of course, boost and share these messages with other people that are here on the platform. So all of your support in that way is very much appreciated. And of course, if you're interested in finding out any more about trainings, teachings, live ongoing programs that we have, please feel free to check out the link in the description below so that you can become more informed about all of the party that is Monad. And with that, my sweet friends, I honor you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time in connecting. And as we go forth, may we integrate the healing and the lessons received with courage, self-love, and compassion. Our session here today is very much complete. We're going to stick with this theme this week. So I'll see you again tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. All right, sweet friends. Mwah! Ciao.